Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic: The Gathering. Here we have the final ELD Vintage Open from Scholars Games, and Micah has led out with a Underground Sea and Ruby into Night's Whisper, Black Lotus as well. Rich Shea, however, also has his own Lotus, and that's going to lead to Arcbound Ravager and Steel Overseer here. So this is very fast openings. Wasteland from Rich takes out Micah's Underground Sea, and what will he do with 5 mana? He will use it all to go grab Tezzeret the Seeker. So Tezzeret can go get a lot of different things here. We've got Time Vault, Voltaic Key. He can pump up, which would potentially get him out of range, though Rich could very easily drop some more artifacts. We'll see what he gets. Time Vault, certainly a possibility. And he grabs Seed of the Synod, one of the worst cards he could draw in the deck. He's going to get it out of the way, and that's going to give him a little bit of acceleration, better than getting Mox Sapphire. Versus this Mana Denial deck may be better overall. And at this point, he really is going to be happy to just find a Time Vault. Tezzeret will untap it if he can find it. Rich has a decision to make. Does he go all in on this Arcbound Ravager? Or does he let Micah get another turn with Tezzeret? Pumping. And he sends those counters to Arcbound Ravager. He takes out Tezzeret, leaving Rich with just a 4/4 here. Preordained from Micah. And he sees Merchant Scroll and Valerian Academy. Those are some powerful cards right there. Interestingly, it looks like Micah has PO in hand. Paradoxical Outcome not going to be returning that Seed of the Synod, so perhaps Mox Sapphire would have just been strictly better. That's very interesting. 3 mana. Oh, I sound like a donkey now. That is actually a Proxy Sapphire, not Seed of the Synod. I should have picked up on that because of the Night's Whisper. Very rarely do people play Seed of the Synod outside of the Thoughtcast build, which is exclusive from the Night's Whispers build. So yeah, Mox Sapphire was found there. That's hilarious. And it looks like Tinker found on the top. He's got Library. This is a lot of bad things in store for Rich. He may actually have Hurkyl's Recall as well. This is going to be out of hand very quickly. Merchant Scroll, 4 Paradoxical Outcome. We do this all in one take, so mistakes and all. Tap to draw Sensei's Top, respond with Paradoxical Outcome. The way that works is Sensei's Top's ability is still on the stack after Paradoxical Outcome resolves, resulting in drawing a card. However, Top is not in play, so it cannot be put on top of the library, netting an extra draw. Big fan of doing that with Repeal as well. So Paradoxical Outcome, a heck of a lot better than Repeal. Not close. 4 damage at a time here, chipping away. Just feels like an absolute slog. And Micah actually going to use the Repeal on Rich's Arcbound Ravager, and Rich going to let him get the draw. Could have sacked it in response, would have been a totally reasonable thing to do. Really no chance of Rich winning this with so many cards being drawn by Micah. Ancestral Resolving, which is just excessive here. He has all the cards, all the mana, and Rich has a Mox Jet. And Preordain. So looks like Treasure Cruise on top as well. Time Vault coming down. And Time Walk accompanies it. And just so much mana here. This is not going well for Rich. Another Sensei's Top. Sensei's Tops are not redundant when you're playing Paradoxical Outcome. You actually play multiple copies because that top trick works so well. And Treasure Cruise happening here. Just needs to find a Voltaic key to truly lock things up. And it looks like Monastery Mentor will be plenty good enough there. If Rich did not concede, the game would be over on the next turn anyways, as those Sensei's tops would go on top of the deck one at a time, switching for each other and giving +1/+1 for every mana that Micah had available. So easily taking down game 1. Micah heading into games 2 and possibly 3 with a pretty clear plan. Hurkyl's Recall is what this type of match is all about. Hurkyl's is a 4 of in so many of these Paradoxical Outcome builds now. Some number of copies. Main deck is very standard. And what that does is completely blows out the shop player, answers whatever the heck they were trying to do. If it's sphere effects, aggro start, whatever they happen to have, it gets it all out of the way. Particularly devastating in the more combo builds, especially with Wheel of Fortune and Memory Jar, Time Twister. Those effects are absolutely bonkers when you bounce their hard-earned board back to their hand and then make them shuffle it away or discard it. That is very punishing. I am a big fan of taking that line. See if Rich can bounce back here. A very resilient player. Interesting to see him on shops. He has bounced back and forth in between a lot of different decks, trying to figure out what he wants to be playing in Vintage. I think statistically, shops seems to be the best deck in the format. Though I will say it does seem to just provide some bad outings, which blue control decks don't appear to do to me. I mean, I feel like there are times where no matter how good you are, shops is just not going to work out on that particular day. Whereas I tend to not see that as much with blue decks. That could be confirmation bias. I don't really have the actual spreadsheets to back that up, so very easy to fall into that fallacy. But it certainly feels like you have a lot more control over your matchups when you're playing blue. Workshops, much less so. Really, the mulligan step is your biggest decision in terms of card selection. You really don't have brainstorm or any additional card drawing, so that mulligan phase extremely important. And Rich just down to 5 here, scrying. He's on the play. See what he's able to do. Workshop Sphere, and it sticks, so that is somewhat bad news for Micah. It's going to be very difficult for him to win through a sphere. Another workshop. Mana Crypt comes down, giving Rich a win condition. And Strip Mine targeting that Underground Sea. We've got an end step. 4 mana. Repeal. That card has pulled some weight here for Micah. I've been looking at building a PO list myself, and repeal one of the considerations. And things are about to get nutty here. Paradoxical Outcome drawing 4. And he's going to be able to replay all of those. Micah wisely not making his land drop yet. He's got some decisions. He can play Library if he wants an extra card. Or he can go with Academy if he wants the extra mana. See which route he goes. He goes Library. Taps to draw. And rewarded with Demonic Tutor. Now he has Force of Will and double Hurkyl's. It would not be unreasonable here to try and go for a quick kill. Trinisphere and Sphere Resistance. Ancient Tomb. Hurkyl's during the end step. And both of those spheres are back in Rich's hand. Library tapping to draw. And Micah's got Force of Wills, Answers, Demonic Tutor. Grabbing Paradoxical Outcome, setting up some more shenanigans here. The last turn that library came down, drew him an extra card, drew an extra card this turn. Now it's time to drop Academy. And get all the manas. Tapping for 5. 9 total mana here. And Paradoxical Outcome for 5. It is so good. Amazing to me it's not a larger percentage of the meta. Time Vault. Still has Mana Crypt on board. And another Paradoxical Outcome. So happily using the 2 mana to get the Time Vault down just to have another permanent to bounce. See Night's Whispers and Preordains. There's a Time Walk. Time Walk has to be good enough. Time Vault is coming down. An embarrassment of riches here. So many cards in hand. Dig Through Time. Super dangerous with this Time Vault on board. And there's the Voltaic Key. And that is enough for Rich. He has seen enough. Infinite turns, gets the concession in 2 quick games for Micah. That's all for this one. If you enjoyed the video, please help grow the channel by subscribing. You'll be notified when we upload new videos like Fast Effect, Double Speed Magic with commentary, or Untapped, our raw tournament gameplay. Thanks for watching.